Good day, Baryumians and Capirians. How are you today? Welcome to our session for today. Before we start our lesson, I would like you to recall our previous discussion. Can you still remember? Okay, so let me summarize our last topic that we have discussed for a quick review. So, our lesson previously is about maintenance of computer system. What are the three basic processes of maintenance? These are data backup, malware maintenance, and disk or file system maintenance. What is data backup, by the way? This means creating a redundant copy of a data so that in case anything happens to the original data, you have a spare copy. Example, you can use CD or DVD, flash drive, or other forms of data backup. How about in malware maintenance? All you need to do is download an antivirus so that your computer will not be at risk of any viruses. Disk or file system maintenance. Uninstall any unnecessary software and defragment your disk. Typically, your system performance will decline when the amount of data in your hard disk starts to grow. So again, uninstall any unnecessary software. Do you have any questions? Okay, so we will proceed to look, then compare. So I have here two images. Okay, and your guide questions. Take a look at the images. What have you noticed? Can you compare the two pictures? Technician A and Technician B. Who among the two technicians observe safety precautions? Okay. So for sure, it is the Technician A. Okay? Because have you noticed that the Technician A used the proper protective equipment by doing his job? Okay, that's good. Now, how about if this would be the case? Take a look at the picture. What is the right way of dealing with this situation? Before we answer that certain question, let me discuss first the occupational health and safety precautions in network maintenance. Okay, so what is occupational health and safety, or OHS? It is defined that it is a planned system of working to prevent illness and injury where you work by recognizing and identifying hazards and risk. Okay, so we'll proceed to the general safety. Here are some of the basic safety precautions to use when working on a computer systems and network. Okay, first is remove your watch and jewelry and secure loose clothing because there are pieces inside the computer that can harm us. Example, magnets. So when we wear accessories such as jewelries can attract to the magnet, thus might cut our fingers. And also, wearing loose clothing are prone to accidents that can coat on the edges of the equipment, resulting to the damage of the equipment and probably injure you. Okay, Number 2, turn off the power and unplug equipment before performing service. Why? Okay, to avoid short circuit and electrocuted if hazards will occur. How about number 3? Cover sharp edges inside the computer case with tape. To avoid being cut during opening and repairing the insides of the equipment. Okay, next is number 4. Never open a power supply. Why? When computer is not in use, not only to avoid high electrical bills, but also to avoid damage or short circuit. Another thing is, do not touch areas in printers that are hot or that use high voltage. Because in doing so, you put yourselves at risk by being electrocuted, cuts, and being pinched by the printer. Okay, next is know where the fire extinguisher is located and how to use it. For you to be aware of fire suddenly occurs, so you need to do where is the fire extinguisher located in a certain area. Next, we will proceed. Number 7. Keep food and drinks out of your workspace. Why? To avoid spills in your equipment, of course. For example, you spill liquid substances in the surface of the machine, so resulting to spark and can damage the computer. Okay, next. Number 8. Keep your workspace clean and free of clutter. So clutter is one of the causes of accidents. For example, when clutter are around the floor, it may be the reason that you sleep. Being organized can be of advantage for you because it will be easier in finding things needed in your job. Okay, so how about number 9? Okay. Bend your knees when lifting heavy objects to avoid injuring your back. So if you bend your back while lifting heavy objects, so it can cause backache or worse. It can break your backbone, which we do not like. Okay? Next is, okay, so we will proceed to cable or cable cutters and cable cutting safety hazards. First, the section describes the safety hazards of working with copper cables, which, like fiber optic cables, can be dangerous to handle. So in handling cable, always wear eye protection and never touch the ends of any type of cable to bare skin. So all you need to do, of course, is use proper protective equipment to protect us from harm. Another thing is, when you cut copper cable, the small copper strands can puncture your skin or cut you. So the small pieces that come off after cables are cut often fly into the air. Remember to always wear safety glasses when cutting any type of cable. So use proper protective equipment. Okay, next. So the cutting and crimping tools used to repair set of terminate copper cables can be dangerous if not used properly. So read the instructions that come with the tool. Practice using the tool and scrap cable and ask an experienced installer for help if you need it. So every tool has its own instruction. Have you noticed at the back of it or the packaging of it? So instructions are all there. So reading applies in this situation. So if you are not confident about using such tools, it is better to ask for assistance. Okay? Next, remember that copper cable conducts electricity, or lightning can energize even a disconnected cable. If in doubt, test the cable you are working on with a simple voltage detector before touching it. Okay? So exposed cables should be covered with electrical tapes because cables exposed to the air are particularly vulnerable. So always check using voltage detector. We will proceed. Is there any questions, by the way? Okay, so we will proceed to electrical safety. Disconnect all power when perform a mechanical inspection. Okay, what is the advantage of performing a mechanical inspection? Okay, by performing a mechanical inspection, you will be able to know if there are damages or faulty wirings that may cause problems in the future. Right? Okay, next is working near power supplies. So it is not advisable to work near the power supplies. Why? Because working near them may cause trouble. For example, if trip occurs, high impact of the electricity to your what? To your equipment is high or strong that can ruin your machinery equipment. Okay? Next is remove or installing main units. So if you're going to remove or installing main units, always wear proper equipment. As what I've said earlier, there should be a proper equipment for us to be safe or for you to be safe, and unplug the necessary wiring to keep you safe. So if it is necessary for us to unplug, so we have to do it. Okay, another thing is, before starting to work on the machine, unplug the power cord. Okay. So, we need again to unplug to avoid electrocuted. Next is, never assume that power has been disconnected for a circuit. First, check that it has been powered off. So be vigilant in switching on or off of your equipment, because too much assuming can cause accidents. Thus, You must double check everything. Okay, next. Always look carefully for possible hazards in your work. So that we are going to prevent future accidents, because remember, an ounce of prevention is worth pounds of cure. Okay? Questions? Okay, none. So we will proceed to number 7, which is moist floors. Okay. Avoid working floor area being wet because there are wirings that cannot be exposed to moist floor. Next is non-grounded power extension cables. Avoid using non-grounded power extension cables when using heavy equipment, especially computers, because non-grounded extension wires can only be used by lamps, clocks, or other light-duty electrical devices. So for heavy-duty electrical devices, so it is not advisable to use non-grounded power extension cables. Okay, next, power surges. Okay, so power surges occur when the flow of electricity is interrupted and started again. This may cause short circuits or fire when equipment are plugged in. So, one must be alert when power surges occur. How about if an electrical accident occurs? Okay. So if electrical accident occurs, what will you do? Switch off power, of course, to avoid further complications. Example, if someone gets electrocuted, you need to switch off power supply to avoid fatal accidents. Next, send another person to get medical aid. If the accident occurred, one must stay beside the patient to assist him or her. And one must call for help. How about in fire safety? Follow the fire safety guidelines to protect lives, structures, and equipment. First, never fight a fire that is out of control or not contained. Why is that so? If you are not a trained personnel who can manage such fire, who cannot manage rather such fire, do not be the one to put out the fire. And please do not assume to be a hero. Number 2, always have a planned fire escape route before beginning any work. So you must know where the fire exit located for you to be easily get out when fire or accidents occur. Another, get out of the building quickly. So, adrenaline rush will be applied for this situation. So, always be calm and focused. Next, contact emergency services for help. So, every building should have emergency hotlines. So, everyone should know where to call. Okay, then what would be the specific numbers of the emergency hotlines? If possible, it must be pasted on the areas which are visible and easily to see during emergencies. Another thing is locate and read the instructions of the fire extinguisher in your workplace before you use them. Why? Don't use automatically, of course. Because there are various types of fire extinguisher. So you must read the labels and instructions carefully. Okay, is there any questions? Okay, so no more questions. So if you really
Understood.
and to test if you really
Understood the lesson.
let's have a drill. Here's the mechanics. Match the picture of the given precautionary measures and vice versa. So I have here the pictures and the given precautionary measures. Okay. When handling cable, always wear eye protection and never touch the ends of any type of cable to bare skin. Okay, that's good. Is it correct? Yes, it is. Next, remove your watch and jewelry and secure loose clothing. Bend your knees when lifting heavy objects to avoid injuring your back. Send another persons to get medical aid. And then, moist floors. So, how's our drill? Then, we will proceed to evaluation. Your evaluation is just a true or false. I know you can able to answer this. Okay, direction. Read each statement below carefully. Answer true if the statement is correct, and false if it is wrong. Okay. So number 1, is it true or false? First aid kit should be available in case of fire or injury. Is it true or false? Okay, correct. It is true. How about number 2? Never touch the ends of any type of cable to bare skin. Correct. True. Number 3. To avoid personal injury or equipment damage, disconnect the attached power cords. Correct. We will proceed to number 4. Connect all power when working near power supply. False. Okay, you're right. Number 5. Follow fire safety guidelines to protect lives, structures, and equipment. True. Next. To avoid an electrical shock, turn off computer before beginning a repair. What is the answer? True, correct. Number 7. When handling cable, always wear eye protection. Is it true or false? Okay, true. Number 8. Maintaining computer system saves you from hassles. Okay, true. Correct. Next. It is essential to make maintenance plan in maintaining computer system. What is the answer? Dun-dun-dun! True. Correct. Follow the basic safety guidelines to prevent electrical shock. What is the answer? True. Okay. Correct. So you are perfect. Since you understood our lesson, I'd like you to pass this next meeting for your assignment. So on the table provided below, list down the occupational health and safety precautions needed to be applied at home. So write your answers in a 1/4 sheet of paper and pass it next meeting. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. By the way, before we end our session, let me share to you some words to ponder. Remember, we only have one life to live in this world. Cherish every moment that you've shared together with your loved ones. Indeed, we must consider safety all the way, especially we are facing today's pandemic, which is COVID-19. Therefore, apat dapat plus. Thank you for listening. I hope you have learned and gained knowledge that you can use in the future. Let us all enjoy learning.